We are following a developing story this morning. This is out of Minneapolis. A 14-year-old boy shot and killed overnight outside of the Federal Reserve Bank in downtown Minneapolis.
So police now need your help to help find the person responsible. Our Pauline Lee joining us live in downtown Minneapolis this morning with the very latest on this investigation. Pauline.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, Minneapolis police are calling this shooting a senseless tragedy, and they're encouraging parents to talk to their kids. Let's take you back to last night here. Officers were called to the Federal Reserve Building at just after 9 o'clock last night to find a 14-year-old boy who had been shot. He was taken to the hospital where he later died from his injuries. Now, police say the initial investigation indicates that a fight broke out between roughly a dozen teenage boys, resulting in someone firing a gun, hitting that 14-year-old in the chest. Police Chief Brian O'Hara says this type of tragedy could have been prevented.
Tough part about this for any parent is we don't know who our kids are hanging out with once they're outside of our home. And obviously we do have a problem with kids that have access to guns. So the best advice I could say for parents is just to make sure you know who your kids are hanging around.
Now, about an hour later, Minneapolis police responded to another shooting at nearby Elliott Park. That's where they found a 29-year-old man who had been shot. He's expected to survive. Police have also made an arrest in that case. They do stress, however, these two shootings don't appear to be related. Now, overnight, Police Chief Brian O'Hara said it's been a rough week for gun violence here in the city of Minneapolis. Despite that, though, gun violence is actually down here in the city year over year. So we're going to take a closer look at the numbers coming up in about half an hour, guys.
All right, Pauline Lee live for us in Minneapolis with that update. Pauline, thank you.
Minneapolis police are investigating after a 14-year-old boy was shot and killed. This is near the Federal Reserve Building. It happened just after 9 o'clock last night.
They say a fight broke out between roughly a dozen teenage boys when someone pulled out a gun. Despite a recent uptick in gun violence this past week, crime is still down compared to this time last year. Our Pauline Lee joins us live in Minneapolis with what the police chief has to say. And also, Pauline, a closer look at those numbers.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, even the police chief admitted it has been a rough week for crime here in the city of Minneapolis. Numbers overall, year over year, they are down. But police chief says gun violence, it's still an issue, especially when teenage boys turn to guns to solve their issues. So let's take a closer look at the numbers here. The numbers of shots fired incidents is actually down about 17.5% from this time last year. Number of people hurt in shootings also down about 20.5% from a year ago. However, if you're looking at the numbers from month to month, there is a slight increase in the number of victims. So we've had about 30 people shot as of Sunday. That's compared to 27 from a month ago. Police Chief Brian O'Hara says people, especially teens, need to figure out how to solve their problems without violence.
The problem here is when teenagers have guns. And so instead of settling a fight with fists and that kind of thing, this has now turned deadly, taking away a life of a teenager and changing others forever.
Now, in this latest incident here, police are still looking for the suspect and the person responsible here. If you have any information, do call police. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Pauline Lee live for us this morning in Minneapolis. Thank you.